I think there are two sides for almost everything. Even, there's the good and the bad side. AI, as a matter of fact, is just a tool. Now, how you
Yeah.
use it, that's really up to you. I mean, you can use it for good stuff or for bad stuff.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to my podcast, AI with Alex. Today we're with Max, and we're going to talk about AI and cybersecurity. But before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hi, Alex. Hi, everyone. My name is Max. I'm originally from Italy, but I've been working actually for quite a long time in Switzerland, and this is also where I set up my own company. Before entering this journey, I worked, I would say, around 30 years in security. Prolific name first, computer security, then it became information security, and then lately cybersecurity. So it's started as a security auditor. I was doing also pen test application assessment, and then I moved into the consulting space. And then eventually I became a CISO, so Chief Information Security Officer for different international companies. Yeah, and then I said, okay, maybe it's time to try something new. So I decided to basically launch my company that is focused on cybersecurity, but is bringing some of the new technologies such as AI, and also we are experimenting something on the quantum computing space.
Wow, that's actually really nice. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, first I want to talk a little bit about before we actually talk about how like AI can help a lot about cybersecurity. I want to talk a little bit about the negative side, the side that we don't really talk about as often. So, there's like challenges for with AI and cybersecurity, like how there's such thing as adversarial techniques that is basically where it's evolving AI machine learning can actually bypass. So there's a good and bad side to AI when it comes to cybersecurity. There's
Yeah.
AI that can help increase security, and there's AI that can actually break into like all these applications. And I feel like there's this one article I read just the other day, but I'm not sure, but it was about this how AI is negative and it can like basically. I even saw this one video. I haven't watched it. It was like hack GPT, and
Mm-hmm.
you can actually use ChatGPT to hack and just and, like all these
Correct.
things, and it's actually kind of scary. Do you want to also contribute to this so far?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think there are two sides for almost everything. Even, there's the good and the bad side. AI, as a matter of fact, is just a tool. Now, how you
Yeah.
use it, that's really up to you. I mean, you can use it for good stuff or for bad stuff. Well, since we're talking about the bad stuff, since the very beginning, so when ChatGPT was born, of course, I mean, ChatGPT is built in a way that there are some, how can I say, safety net or security net, where the model is not or shouldn't be allowed basically to talk about bad stuff or proposing bad stuff or giving solution, for example, to a potential cyber criminal on, how to attack a system, how to breach a system application. And therefore, a group of people, decided why don't we create actually our own version of, GPT that is without any boundaries. So, we can train it as we like. and mostly to do bad stuff, and then it can help us. And as a matter of fact, I mean, this has started, yeah, I would say in a very powerful way, helping cyber criminals on the improving the phishing attacks. So they improved a lot the quality of how emails were written. Sometimes the reference to solutions that actually look like Microsoft, for example, Microsoft product or Microsoft services. So it would really trick the end user. Lately, I've also read that I think it was from the MIT. They actually built a model, an AI model that is able to autonomously breach a system. So is able to automatically scan for vulnerabilities, trying to understand what are the weaknesses and exploit these weaknesses to get into the system without any human interaction. So clearly, I mean, AI is evolving on. I think it's sort of like a parallel track, on the good side, and of course on the bad side. Now like any technology, I don't think that there will ever be a way to stop that. Yeah, I think that it's a matter of, how can I say, we should be able to live with it. We should be able to, in a way, outsmart it. And the same way we try and do so in a defensive way, of course, also the cyber criminals will try to outsmart the defenses. So it will always, I mean, it's basically an endless, fight. And today is with AI. Tomorrow is going to be with quantum, and all the discussions around quantum computing being able to break even the strongest encryption like that.
Yeah,
So yeah.
this reminds me of CAPTCHA. Everybody, if you go on like a website, maybe you're signing up or like logging in, we like ask you, are you a robot? And you have to check, you have to like answer a series of questions. This reminds me because the people behind CAPTCHA are actually training AI models based on these human responses um to like get bigger and smarter, and then when it's too smart that it's actually smarter than humans, they actually make it harder. So it's like this
Yeah.
endless loop. It's like I see it in a way like in cybersecurity, like people are going to like hackers and people, bad people like that, they're going to train AI based on like security and like how they're doing this and like how they're breaking in and how they're unsuccessful, and they're going to train all these patterns so that when it gets too good, they're going to add people are going to make their security better
Yeah.
with using AI, but then at the same time, AI is just it's going to be this endless loop between, okay, we're making it higher, we're making the security higher, we're making the hacking higher, the hacking skills higher,
Exactly.
and it's just going to keep stacking up until we reach a point where we can't like actually make it better. It's just going to be, I feel like it's going to be neutral actually.
I think
Where
that at a certain point, I mean, it's a little bit like if you look at from if you look at it from a mathematical perspective, I think it's a little bit like a logarithmic curve, where at the beginning you have a lot of potential for the good and the bad, but then in the long term, they are becoming so good that it's very marginal, the gain that
yeah.
you can get on one or the other side. And this is probably the time where then a new technology can in, or a new attacking technique that was maybe not, let's say, um, discussed, or what was not ever tried before. So there is always something new, and we have seen this, especially in the cybersecurity space. I mean, since ages, even before actually I started working on that. So it's as you said, I mean, it's going to be basically endless. Uh, so it's very interesting because it kind of keeps you um, in a way, it's still young. I mean, you're forced, to always
Yeah.
learn, new techniques, new technologies, and so, it's really right. The sometimes, I mean, the motto that you never stop learning.
Yeah, exactly. And also I feel like when you're stacking on things, you can cause auto it's not just about like hacking too. Also deep fakes, like videos, deep fake images as well. AI gets better and better at making realistic and life-like looking
Hmm.
deepfakes, and then we're going to like create AI, or we're going to train people. Actually, we're going to teach people like, okay, this is real, this is deepfake, and this is a deep fake, and this is real, something like that. Then the AI is actually going to train more and more and more. So we're gonna have this continuous loop. But
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But I feel like deepfakes, especially deepfakes, are I feel like unlike hacking, deepfakes is like a thing. It's kind of like a skill, kind of. Um, well, hacking is also a skill, but it's kind of like math. It's like a formula. Where with new security, there's always going to be a way to break through something. Unlike
Hmm.
deepfake, the human eye has a limit, and once you like break that limit, it's going to be basically impossible to decipher between deepfake and real. And then we're going to
Correct.
start having AI that's actually going to be better than us training, and then it's going to be better than us at figure out these deepfakes. Then the real question is, do we trust this AI to figure out, because it's better than us, but we don't know how better it is. We just know it's really, really, really good. And what if it's wrong? What if it's wrong? And what if it says this is a deep fake when it's actually a real image? Or worse,
Correct.
what if it's a real? What if it's a fake image, but it says it's real? So
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, exactly. So it's kind sometimes it doesn't boil all down to AI. Maybe there's this new kind of technology, this new formula that we learn, and it's not about AI. Maybe it's just a computer, like a calculator, something like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I feel like personally, when there's AI as a problem, the solution to AI is sometimes AI, because I mean, you could argue it's just it's like fighting fire with fire, but at the same time, how do you solve AI when AI was the problem in the first place? You put AI
Hmm.
at it. Yeah, exactly. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. In a way, I think that we are trusting already AI for a lot of things, and
Yeah.
the I mean, just to consider maybe a topic that is actually a bit off topic. So when you use applications such as Spotify, for example, or Netflix, I mean, they have AI models that are recommending movies for you, and in a way, you basically trust them. I mean, you switch your brain off and say, okay, well, look at this. I mean, I have a full list of, recommended movies. And then implicitly, I mean, you trust, what the system gives you. And, the same can actually be, I mean, I've actually spoken with many people, and they are using, ChatGPT almost regularly. And sometimes, I mean, I wouldn't say they blindly trust it, but, they put a lot of trust, probably sometimes
Yeah.
even more than they should. But I think it will become, eventually it will become like this, because, uh, let's say, you will be limited as a human being. And then he said, well, okay, I mean, that's over my limit. I mean, I cannot go there far. So I should trust something. And I have this model, this AI, for example, that is telling me, no, I mean, don't believe that. That is all fake. In the case of deepfakes. And especially for deepfakes, I mean, you touched upon a very important topic, because getting better and better there could be used to have serious repercussions also for example, from a geopolitical perspective. So imagine, having, I don't know, the
Yeah.
leader of a country stating something that might trigger, an attack, a war, without being able to fully, how can I say, detect, if it's a deep fake or a reality, or even if, the media is running so fast that sometimes the news are coming in even before being verified. And so, sometimes you basically generate this sort of mass hysteria just to come back afterwards and saying, well, no, actually, it was a mistake. It was just a big fake. We had it analyzed and, it was not true. There you have already a lot of, how can I say, possibilities, especially, for whoever has a bad intention to manipulate a little bit the mindset of people. And they cannot really do anything. It's true that if you look at some deepfakes, right? These days, to be honest, most of the time you can understand that something is a little bit off.
Yeah.
Maybe the way, the body is moving, the eye movement, or, sometimes the lip syncing and stuff like that. But, you know, this is just a matter of time. I'm pretty sure that, in just 1 year time, the things will change dramatically. They're already changing, now, for example, using some of the tools, some of the AI models to generate short movies, which, some of them actually look pretty good,
Yeah.
and, this, okay, eventually will probably revolutionize also the entertainment industry, the movie industry. But, if we get at that level, imagine, how this can be used for malicious purposes.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like again, like AI now, people are like saying AI is going. There's like a spectrum. I feel like there's one side where people are like, "Bro, AI is just going to take everybody's jobs. You might as well just quit now." But then the other side is like, AI is we're not going anywhere. Like AI is just a hype word. It's just something that companies are just saying so then they could just get extra money. Like I feel
Mm-hmm.
like there's a whole spectrum and there's like a whole spectrum of what people are saying, but when it just boils down to this, that I mean, AI is changing. It may not be here like it's not may not be what people are saying it's going to be like right now, but in like the 2, 3, maybe even like 5, 10 years, we're gonna see a big change, and
Absolutely.
especially cybersecurity. Maybe who knows? Maybe AI might be like maybe hackers might not be swift and agile enough to be able to surpass the new AI models, or maybe companies are not quick enough to surpass to stop hackers from interfering, and especially maybe not quick enough to like stop deep fakes, maybe not quick enough to do this or that, and overall cybersecurity in general. But sometimes I feel like sometimes it just boils down to we can't really trust. You can't really say like which side is going to win, which side is going to lose, because
Mhm.
ultimately it's just everybody's biased. Everybody's like all the companies are saying our AI model is the best AI model there is. All the hackers, maybe they're keeping to themselves, but they don't trust each other, and I remember one of my guests in a recent podcast said that hackers couldn't get in large groups because they couldn't actually trust each other, and because they were like and they were like secretive, anonymous with each
Yeah.
other because they're hackers, and hackers are hackers, right? So um what they couldn't get into large groups. So, but at the same time, companies they're not saying what they're saying, we have AI and it's so cool. It's practically AGI, but it's actually ANI, which is artificial narrow intelligence, which means it's
Mm-hmm.
actually really bad. So we can't say for sure when or not um AI is going to be so good or so bad, or if it's in the middle, but we can say what is happening now. And what's happening now may not, I feel like, me personally, I feel like AI is at a level where it can trick people,
Mm-hmm.
but um, but not majority. Like it could trick some people who are not like techie, the average techie person, or are just not using AI or tech in general. Maybe it could trick those people, but for the majority, people are going to see and realize that yeah, this is definitely AI. But it's actually starting to get pretty realistic. I mean,
Yeah.
all these deep fakes, even some shallow fakes too, they can be very convincing. If no one told me that, okay, this is actually AI, sometimes it might actually be like, oh wow, this looks like 100% real. But other
Yeah.
times it's like, yeah, it's not really that convincing. But I feel like AI is just in a mix. There's like I said, a whole spectrum from it's taking over the world to it's not going to do anything. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. Yeah.
Actually, I just want to say something, when we were discussing about, criminals and, companies, so the offensive and the defensive side. One thing that I learned, and to be honest, I think that is something that I will always keep with me in terms of, thoughts is criminals always have a little bit of competitive advantage compared to a company. And the reason I'm saying this is that they are not overloaded with, how can I say, for example, they are not overloaded with a regulatory burden. So, they can experiment new technology. They don't need to protect data. They don't need to make sure that, their customers' data or information is safe. They don't have to comply with data protection law and stuff like this. So they can take new technologies, put them, immediately in the field, use them, exploit them at the highest level. While a company, I mean, if you look at the adoption of AI, despite the fact that everybody is talking about it, but if you look how AI is really adopted and embedded into a company's ecosystem, you will still see that the percentage is quite low. Maybe they are, trying, they're doing some, proof of concept or, some demos here and there, but you will see that the real adoption is very low. While actually in the cyber criminal world, AI is fully exploited for, scam using, for example, cloned voice. They do, of course, they use it, they massively use it, I mean, for phishing attacks. They massively use it to create actually malware that is constantly changing. So that is not easily, detectable. It's not like in the past where you had the signatures, of a virus, of a computer virus, and then, once you had the signature, you were good because that was the code. So the signature wouldn't really change that much. Now, especially with AI and the ability of AI to create code, the potential is basically endless. So you have, one virus and it might have like, I don't know, 6 or 7 different code branches, within the same day. So, and this is why I'm saying, that it's difficult for companies to keep up with the cyber criminals because of they have to comply. They have to, how can I say, they have to meet a lot of standards before they can fully leverage AI. And I also need to, I mean, you were right earlier, that many companies, many employees, many people working there, even the decision makers, sometimes they are, how can I say, they don't see the true potential of AI, or sometimes they are scared because, they say, if I bring it in, this will take my job. Unfortunately, from what I have seen and from the level of sophistication that these AI models can reach, even right now, some people with very, how can I say, repetitive operational tasks that can definitely be, replaced. Replaced with an AI. Imagine the simple data entry. You receive a document, you have some, unstructured data, create a structure and enter the data into an application, into a database. That can be done very easily today with AI. So it's a legitimate fear, but I think that the only solution to that is not just to say, no, now, I know AI is still far away, my job is still safe. But I think actually the smartest thing is to embrace that AI is coming, and the level of sophistication is actually increasing at the speed of light. And the thing is, how can I actually surf the wave instead of sinking like a ship and being hit by the wave? That is, a really, let's say, interesting question, which I'm sure that it was the same question that the people had at the time of the Industrial Revolution, where, manual work, the first machines were introduced into the factories, and, and people that were doing, the assembly job, or, tightening, for example, some screws, or, that was all automated. As a matter of fact, now all the assembly line of, for example, car making, that is all automated, that is all handled by robots. So I think that this you should probably learn from the past and say, people that were smart back then and said, well, okay, the robot is coming, it's probably taking my job. You know what? I'm gonna learn how to deal with the robot, so that in the future I will be the one maintaining the robot, programming the robot, making it better. And so, I will still have my job and will be safe.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like you said that companies aren't as worried about hackers as but you could also argue that maybe established companies like Google or Apple are not as worried because they're like when was the last time someone had tried to hack Google or Apple? But I feel like startups are really going to help um when it comes to making all these cool maybe experimental AI projects like humane, for example, with the humane AI pin, or a rabbit with the rabbit R1.
Mhm.
Okay, maybe those products weren't the greatest AI gadgets ever, but they do show that company, especially startups, are really to experiment with this new emerging technologies. And
Yes,
yeah, also for example, AI can actually be very helpful when it comes to cybersecurity. Like
absolutely.
yeah, instead of having a simple like firewall that can be hacked by an experienced hacker, maybe you can also add AI. Maybe, for example, AI can, like, you can tell AI about who you are, like your personal details, and then it'll ask you questions like, what was your favorite color when you were like 7 years old? And unless that hacker is also a stalker and stalking your entire life, they want to be able to figure it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
so AI can also companies and maybe even the average person as well can incorporate AI into their cybersecurity and leverage like VPNs, for example. Another one, VPNs can be useful for basically if you want to pretend that you're living in a different
Mhm.
country, maybe in a continent, so that websites and companies can't track you. But you can also incorporate AI as well. It can give you a whole identity. Maybe it can give you a fake email, fake a fake password, fake name, maybe even a fake phone number that you can
Yeah,
use while you're on the internet. So you don't have to use your actual identity as well.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. You can do that. That's actually a very interesting thought. I haven't thought of AI creating a fake identity for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like also another great thing that is probably more common is what's it called? Yeah, maybe instead of a hack GPT, you can do like a security GPT. Instead of hacking it, instead of
Hmm.
hacking people, you can go the other way around and stop people from hacking in the first place. Kind of like CAPTCHA. Instead of stopping people from actually, no, actually not like that. I'm trying to think. Um, yeah. For example, you can use AI. Maybe there will be this AI that when hackers try to hack inside your account, maybe it automatically changes your password or changes something or makes it harder every time. Kind of like the password game. Some if this past there was this game that was pretty popular, and it's basically where it's you just type in a password and it gives you a different requirement every single time. Like for example, this needs to have a number, or this needs
Hmm.
to have a special character, something like that. And it get kind of obscured at times, but AI can actually do something like that, and it can be random every single time. So when even deep fakes as well, as we were talking about it, deep fake detectors, maybe they'll even be like fishy emails. Like there's all these different websites and apps companies like Guardio, maybe VPNs, like for example NordVPN or
Hmm.
Shark VPN. All these kinds of companies, even now they're helping, but I see in the future we're going to see these powerful AI softwares and AI maybe even companies will incorporate into their devices. Like Apple will incorporate AI. They already have Apple Intelligence. Maybe the Apple Intelligence can be like they can also add security, which will make it harder for hackers to go inside. And maybe for Microsoft's recall feature, maybe instead of making it so as soon as you log in or log into your account, you already see all your recalls, all your screenshots. You will be able to have like I said before, maybe it'll be like a little quiz that you need to answer that is very specific that only you would know the answers to, not even your own
Hmm.
family or friends. And that way it will stop hackers or at least slow them down enough for you to be able to be aware of this and like change your passwords, maybe even like change your usernames, maybe delete your accounts, stuff like this. And
Yeah, yeah,
I see in the future this will be very useful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, consider that many of the security solutions, uh, especially when we talk about uh, EDR softwares or even uh, either type of solution that are sitting on top of a huge amount of data, they are basically doing like profiling. So the thing is that imagine, when you use your computer, usually there are some patterns, how you use it, how fast you type, what kind of application, you start at the beginning of the day. So there are already, because of let's say the type of attacks and, and the criminal activities that is becoming more and more sophisticated, what they are saying is, I'm collecting all the data, that I can on you. And this is based like imagine an employee usually gets to work, open the number PC, open the mail, maybe the browser. If there are some people that, for example, every single morning, I mean, they go and check the news, so specific websites. the way they move the mouse, the pointer or the click or the speed of the double click, all these, are parameters that can be used to basically create a signature view. And so many security solutions are actually using that, and then are using machine learning models to understand if there are differences in the pattern. Now it's so easy for cyber criminal to get hold of credentials. There are many websites where you can buy a big amount of credentials out of previous data breaches. So you just have all the credentials that you need, and you can start using them. Try to see what where it's gonna lead you if you wanna hack into a company. But then these tools will become extremely useful because how what are the chances? What is the likelihood that an attacker is behaving exactly like you? Almost none. Okay, of course, unless you absolutely do nothing the whole day, but even in this case, the attacker would start, moving around, see what kind of files you have, what kind of information, the folders. So you see already that, these techniques I think, will prove more and more effective in the future with the help of AI. At the moment, or let's say up to some years ago, they were using machine learning model. But I think that this has proved already some limitations. The AI models with all the different parameters, they are much more powerful, and they are, I think, smarter in a way to both to create your signature, but also to detect if there are any outliers.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like it's not just detecting if someone's using AI to hack you, maybe they're just using one of those standard like USBs. When someone plugs
Absolutely.
into, yeah, maybe you like say your friend wants to borrow a you ask your friend to borrow a charger, or you're just using the one that you found lying around, and that could actually be like something that hackers can actually hack into, and they can before you even figure it out, it's too late. They're already seeing everything you've typed, everything you maybe they can even control your device too. And I've seen a YouTube video on this actually, when the YouTuber actually buys and tests out these gadgets, and they're only like 10, 15, $20. Some of them were expensive, but most of them were actually pretty cheap to buy. And I
Right.
feel like AI can also help with this. Maybe instead of just plugging it in, AI can scour through thousands, if not millions, of different sites, and it can see. Wait a minute, this is actually a famous, or maybe even not famous, USB stick that, when plugged in, it will actually hack into your computer and
Yeah.
control it. So they'll look at your like banking details, and hackers will just take all your money away. Like, don't, it will block the permission, or it will just simply tell you to unplug it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. AI is definitely going to help with threats detection, and maybe it will even help you. Maybe you're just like to mind your own business, and before you know it, AI just helped you stop like 50 different attacks from various hackers. And I feel like AI is not going to replace, but it's actually not going to replace like creative jobs like artists or programmers. It's going to replace all those mundane tasks, all the tedious tasks, like
All right.
even even for example, security. When you see when you see a website that says, hey, we use cookies, people just accept, because they're like, I don't want to go through the trouble of declining
Yeah.
every single cookie. But with AI, instead of you having to, every time you go on a new website, it asks for do you want cookies, it will just automatically say, no, I don't want cookies, and cancel all the unnecessary cookies that sites take. And
Exactly. Yeah.
AI is not going to replace, definitely not going to replace any creative jobs like all these developers, all these artists, all these designers. But they are going to replace all of the little tedious tasks just to make your life more fluent and efficient and quick and easy as possible. So yeah, I definitely see a future, maybe even now, not even the future. Like I'm not talking about 5, 10 years. I'm definitely not talking about that long. I'm definitely talking about 1, 2 years, maybe even like a couple months actually, where we're going to
Yeah.
see, yeah, where AI just automatically just helps you with all these individual cybersecurity things like canceling cookies or maybe even saying, hey, don't click on this site, this is actually a fishy site, like Guardio, that it also does that. I've seen some of
Got it.
its ads, yeah, and it's AI is definitely going to help everybody from the AI expert to the person's to a kid's first computer. It's definitely, I definitely see a time where there's no such thing as hackers and everybody is maybe there will be as thing as hackers, but it won't be as big as a threat to the individual person as it is now. Definitely not digitally, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to, how can I say, the way it's difficult to predict what the future would bring.
Yeah.
Because as I said, we might reach, let's say, a sort of, fair fight between offense and defense, at a certain point, especially for maybe end users. If, computers start being equipped with AI that can somehow protect you, um, as you said, for example, by checking websites, by maybe, checking a catalog of USB sticks that, could be malicious. Uh, um, but let's say, as history has somehow proven, there will always be something new because you have to consider something. You said it right. I see more AI helping on, let's say, a daily operational task and recurring tasks rather than creative jobs, right?
Yeah.
But you have to consider that hacking, um, under many perspectives, is actually a creative job. So
Mhm.
when you go through history and you see a little bit, the evolution of the different attacking techniques, some of them are extremely brilliant, and it's like like one of these brilliant inventions, that sometimes some creative inventor can come up with. So the same is there. It's very creative and like how can I say, like poetry. Sometimes the way code is written. I mean,
Mhm.
it's very beautiful and very elegant. So it's an art, as a matter of fact. So that's why AI can somehow help criminals in being faster. But when, let's say, criminal organization detect that, okay, that's basically the plateau, we cannot go any further with AI, then I'm sure that there will be a very creative and brilliant human being that will say that we haven't tried this technique, and that works, and that will be the future. Basically, they will be their advantage again. So I want to actually quickly mention something, if I may. One of the things that in one of the projects that we had run was like a sort of proof of concept, but that actually worked with AI. We not only deliver a little bit of automation, but we deliver like a smart automation. So there was this AI model was able to think and take a decision as a, yeah, I would say, like a junior or a junior analyst, type of role, even medium skill. And this basically replaced the person in doing the operational task. And this person was so happy because this person had the chance to finally focus on some more meaningful activities. While the AI, would actually manage all the operational side. This person couldn't, how can I say, couldn't or didn't feel that it was improving, year on year because it was overloaded by these operational tasks. And once we tried that, we I can say, many people would be scared and said, "Oh my God, I lost my job." But actually, this person was so happy because said, "Okay, now I can focus on other topics that I've always wanted, in my to-do list for my, let's say, working day, but I never had the chance to do them properly because I was, overloaded with tasks." So, that is also another, I just wanted to also mention this because it's finally the opportunity for many, many individuals to actually find something more meaningful, in their workplace. So it's not necessarily negative, to lose part of your, let's say, daily activities to the AI, especially when you have a job that you might need to interact more with your colleague and expand your network, create your network, or maybe jobs where you have to actually take some strategic decision. There, you need to really think carefully, and you need to have the time to do so. If you are overloaded with your daily tasks, you're not going to get there. You will never, have the chance to fully develop, what you want to work on. And this was actually on security. This was basically performing risk assessments, which, sometimes is true. Is maybe not cybersecurity in the sense of defend the company, from the attacks, but it is actually useful to evaluate, for example, new products that are going live. We say, well, I mean, how risky is this product? Are we taking care of, all risks? Are we mitigating all risks to basically minimize the chance, for an attacker um, to exploit, vulnerabilities and then to get into the company?
Yeah,
So
actually,
sorry, it was a little
yeah,
bit. I just wanted to bring
yeah,
in this example because I thought it would be useful also for many listening to this podcast.
yeah. Well, thank you for being on my podcast. Um, this is AI with Alex. I'm Alex. This is Max. And do you have any other words or anything to say before we end the podcast?
Um, no, not specifically. I mean, I just want to thank you, Alex, for having me here and giving me the opportunity. And yeah, I mean, for let's say all the ones out there. I mean, don't get scared. I mean, AI could be a complex task, but the more you know about it, and actually the more you want to know about it. So it's gonna for sure come in your life. So it's better to know what's coming, rather than just waiting passively.
Yeah, that's actually really nice. Well, thank you for being on my podcast.
Thank you, bye, goodbye.
Bye.